Well, welcome. This is Lynette Hunter from Wild Sky Career Design, and I'm talking to Julie Gibson. Julie, what are you working on at the moment?
Okay, well, I'm actually starting a new company this year. So we're a technical startup, and what's happened is we were part of a university research program for many years, and just in the last 6 months we've had the opportunity to spin it out of the university and to create a business enterprise. So I'm involved with the setup and startup of this new company. So it's been a very exciting and challenging time.
Right, so is that a managerial role or is it a...
It is pretty much, yeah. So I'm sort of working at 3 levels. I'm working strategically on the big picture stuff, you know, what's our company going to be doing, what's our vision, what's our mission. I'm working operationally on how we set up processes and procedures. You know, we've got to set up our accounts, we've got to set up you know, how we do things efficiently within the organisation. And then I'm also working at the project level because we've got new projects coming on board all the time to create new content for our network of kiosks. So yeah, there's lots of different levels that I work at.
No, it's little midges around the place.
So yeah, so that's what's going on.
And what does the company actually make or do?
Yeah, well, HitNet Innovations creates culturally appropriate content for marginalised and hard to reach audiences. So in the past it's been traditionally Indigenous health, but we're now broadening that to other marginalised populations, refugee and migrant groups, marginalised youth as well, youth coming out of youth justice centres, for example. And our main method of delivery at the moment is a network of touchscreen kiosks. So we've got 70 touchscreen kiosks around Australia, all internet connected, so we can push out new content as it's created. And we can also monitor and retrieve usage data, so we can actually see what people are looking at. And yeah, that provides valuable research data.
Wow. Right, so I imagine people listening to this would, or even young people would say to themselves, how on earth, you know, do you get a job like that? You know, what kind of CV do you have to write? What course do you do? How did you get here?
Yeah, well, when I was at university, I did a Bachelor of Science degree. So this was in the days before there was actually proper university degrees for IT. So I was at Monash University doing a science degree, and even through that I did a little bit of IT in my maths unit and didn't really establish a flair or an interest in it. It was a bit of a chore to do. So, you know, definitely at that stage I could never have imagined that I'd end up in IT. And it wasn't until I was doing my 4th year honours that I was doing honours in pharmacology, and I was pulling together all my research data that I had created from the experiments that I'd been doing in the labs. And I was using Excel spreadsheets to evaluate and display graphically the data. And I felt like I had a bit of a flair for it. And yeah, so I applied for graduate trainee programs with large corporations, and I ended up getting a graduate trainee program position with Coles Myer, a large retailer, and they actually take on graduates. It doesn't matter what you've trained in, just as long as you're a graduate in something, and you sit various aptitude tests, and then from that they make a decision as to whether they think you'd be a good developer in IT. And so I had a training period with them for a year or 2, and after that really I just took off and I never looked back since. I actually went straight overseas and worked in the UK for 5 years, and my skills were very transferable and highly sought after. So that was a fantastic experience. So yeah, so ending up in corporate IT. So I did corporate IT for about 15 years, you know, which was great. You know, very highly lucrative, lots of scope, lots of interesting things that you get to work on. But it wasn't until 7 years ago I actually moved to far north Queensland and got the opportunity to apply my IT interests and skills into some more creative and worthwhile pursuits. So I got involved in this amazing Indigenous health promotion program called HitNet. So it was part of the university. And so that was 7 years ago, and I've actually been able to work with HitNet as I've moved around the country. Also, I've got a family, I've got 2 daughters that I look after, so it's been totally flexible with that. I've also been studying for a master's as well, which I've recently completed. So I've been able to combine all these things while I've been working with HitNet. And then just in the last 6 months, I finished my master's, and then the opportunity came to set HitNet up as a company, and so it was a fantastic opportunity. Everybody's been very supportive, the university, our suppliers, our customers, have almost been like mentors to us. So it's it's been it just seems the natural thing to do, and so far so good. So it's been really interesting.
So just to finish off, what might you say to young, women particularly, who might be thinking that IT is a very, not for them, or it's not a really interesting sort of field. Your example seems to show that it could go in many directions.
Well, that's right. I think I suppose stereotypically men are good. Maybe a lot of men like to do the programming side of things because there's perhaps less human interaction, whereas women actually make really good analysts. And so women are the ones who are talking to the customer, the people in the business, seeking out their requirements, taking them through the development life cycle journey. So, there's a huge role for women in IT and also management positions as well. But look, even in development as well, there's no reason why, of course, women can't be programmers and developers. There's huge scope, and I know it's traditionally a male area, but that's fine.
Perhaps a nerdy area, but it just nowadays that doesn't seem to be so current, does it?
No, well, that's right. So look, it attracts people from all different walks of life, and you see that as you travel around the world and work in IT as well. All ages, and lots of Australians doing it overseas too. So go for it. No,
great opportunity.
And with the with the rollout of the National Broadband Network in Australia, that's going to have huge impact on technology development in this country, and I just think it's a really exciting time to be in this space. So definitely.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time today, Julie.
You're welcome.